Welcome to Swayambhu's session of Getting Candid. We are getting candid with Mr. Dinesh Raheja today. Dinesh Raheja is an Indian author, columnist, TV script writer, film historian. Raheja has been writing on cinema for over 30 years. In his long and prolific career as a writer, he has worked as the editor of Movie Magazine, channel editor of India Today's online film section, and editor of Bollywood News Service, and much, much more. He is also the founder of the Dinesh Raheja Workshop, which aims to help newcomer actors to become familiar with the media. A few haikus from his 101 collection. Raindrops open up umbrella of memories. Then, now, I love you. White cherry blossoms spike the spring air with romance. Winter waits to strike. Amid autumn frost, the mirror mocks. You are old. Pray, will spring return? Let's get candid with Mr. Dinesh Raheja.
Thank you so much, Rohit. And namaskar and welcome, DR.
Thank you. What a flattering introduction. Very impressed.
You deserve all that and much, much more.
Thank
you. You have been conducting interviews for so many people throughout your life.
Right.
So do I have the honor of taking your interview for the very first time?
My pleasure.
Yes, thank you. So I'll start with my cannonball of questions.
Yes,
so the first question is simple, because we are here to address our Swayambhus, our aspiring Swayambhus. I'm Dr. Sangeeta Kamath and founder of Swayambhu, which is a registered social movement to transform the backbenchers to front runners.
Very good.
We help you, we guide you, we are your emotional GPS to help you find a career of your choice and to help you to be self-reliant and confident via internship. How to register? Simply send me a mail, swayambhu@gmail.com. Please note, there are no fees, no charges, no donation, no commercials. So you're most welcome to send us a mail with your profile and which career you would like to pursue and how would you like us to help you. And it will be our pleasure and honor to do that. So now we proceed with our questions. So DR, everybody is curious about starting their career.
Right.
And finding your calling becomes a little dicey sometimes.
Right.
You know, either it has to be by chance or it has to be by design. So how did it happen for you? How did you embrace your calling?
I knew at the age of 12 that I wanted to be a film journalist.
Oh, how soon?
So, but there was no, encouragement for arts in those days. It was like for girls or for failures. That was, and that's not, I'm not equating girls with failures. I've never done that. But that was the notion then. So I knew from the age of 12 I wanted to. I had a lot of resistance from my family because we come from a business family. And they were like, it's okay for a hobby and, to write letters to new magazines and all, but not to actually plunge into it. And so they made me do chartered accountancy against my will. And I used to go there and pray every time, please fail me, God, please fail me, God. As it is, the percentage of passing was only 8%. And on top, I was saying, fail me, God. So God heard me. And after 6 attempts, then my father said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do film service. Yeah. And I had a scrapbook in 1972, which was, I was hardly about 13, 14 or whatever. And I used to collect pictures of stars and write reviews of their films every week.
Oh.
I still have that scrapbook.
Whoa. So I think we must have a look at your spam book because there will be a lot of junk and interesting, priceless moments which you must have entered in, right?
No, I wrote all professional stuff. I was professional in Clyde from the beginning. I was more into the,
Oh,
yeah. I was not into who's sleeping with who or who's doing what, and that was not my line of thinking or liking also.
I think you started your writing skills very early in life, and you implemented them and applied them in your real life too by praying to God, fail me, and you found your success elsewhere. So, fantastic, fantastic, Dr.
One
Now,
second, I just
when
want to add something. I need to acknowledge
yes,
somebody's contribution to my career. My
yes,
English teacher, Mrs. Rao, now she's no more, unfortunately. She called me in front of the whole class and said, "Read your essay." I thought now she's going to pick faults in it. And she said, "You must write like him," she told me. And then she took me to the library and she said, "You belong here." And she introduced me to the confidence that I can. I always knew that I wanted to be, but she instilled that confidence. So we all need somebody, a mentor, a guide, somebody in life.
correct. So we need a push, a poke, or a nudge, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. So when I shared with you that we would have this subject of re-editing your life, what were your first thoughts and what did it mean to you?
Yes, I re-edited my life in the year 1997, where I was told that you have only 2 years to live. So I said, so I started imagining there's a bird on my shoulder. That's what Buddha said, who tells me every day, today is your last day. How are you going to live it? So that's how I re-edited my life. I was no longer thinking long term. I was thinking every day, day to day. And now it's been 24 years. I'm still alive and kicking. So yeah.
Right. So how important is it for anybody who is not in the right space, because there could be many failures, or there could be incidents which are not anticipated. So what message would you give to people to re-edit what is happening in their life?
Simply do what you want to do. We often try to please parents, some other people, in life, but that's not the way to go about it. You have to be happy yourself, please yourself. Only then can you please others. Otherwise, you don't have it within you. What you don't have, how can you give? I know I spoke to one taxi driver and he said, "Oh, I love one girl, but I'm going to marry another girl." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "I'm going to make my parents happy." I said, "Your parents will not be there maybe 10 years later, but you have to spend the whole life with this woman. So you should marry whom you love, not whom you think you should marry." Think you should marry is so stupid in itself a concept. It should be what my heart tells me.
Correct. Correct. Dr. Does editing your life ever stop? Is there a age bar when you stop re-editing?
Not at all. I think every year I discover something new to do, something new. Like you showed in the AV. Like right now, I got my YouTube channel, which you didn't mention, but of course you mentioned so much else, so you can't mention. So I feel there's growth, there's evolution all the time. And I've made some very good friends, including you, in the last year. So I made Shishir Sharma, then there's Joy Bimal Roy. So who says that after a particular age you can't make friends? It's not true. And I don't necessarily make friends of my age group. In fact, 80% of my friends are in their 40s. So I don't think age is a barrier at all.
Right.
Age is not a barrier for anything.
True,
I
true.
think it's all here. If you're young here, nobody can stop you at anything. I learned,
Ah,
I learned music at 50. But 10 years I used to call my music teacher home and he would teach me. And he told me first day कि अगर आप सारेगामा पा ठीक से नहीं गाते मैं आपको ट्यूशन ही नहीं देता. So then he took me on for 10 years. Yeah, I think you need to just live life to the fullest.
you are a writer, and in spite of that, you said the age is all here. I thought writers will say age is all here.
No, no, I'm saying people who believe in age are thinking from their head. If you
Okay,
think, if
okay.
you if you think from your heart, I'll tell you one incident. A lot of people tell me there's something very childlike about you. When you're 60 plus, how can you be so childlike? I said, Rajneesh once said you should never lose your innocence and the sense of awe and wonderment. If you lose that sense, if you become jaded or you become
Yeah.
latent about things, you can't enjoy. Usually, like if you go to a five-star hotel and see people, they have so much money, but they look so bored while they're eating. And you go to a Delhi Darbar or you go to a Sadhguru or wherever, how they relish what they're eating because their outings maybe once in 4 months.
Now I would like to move on to some questions regards your writing.
Yeah.
You have been an author, a TV script writer, a columnist,
Yeah.
and you had a very long, prolific career as a writer.
Right.
So, what challenges you? What intrigues you more, writing as a character or writing as Dinesh Raheja?
See, I wrote for television, so it was not very satisfying because there are too many. What do they? Too many cooks spoil the broth. So in television, they call it collaboration, but it's not collaboration. It's taking over. So whoever is higher in the hierarchy will start calling the shots. So you've written a beautiful episode, and then I tell my wife, "We'll watch this tonight." I've written, and when I see it on screen, it's been totally altered beyond recognition. There's just a germ of an idea which I must have given. So I didn't enjoy my. I would have enjoyed if I had some creative license or creative freedom. But there, first there's a creative head, then there's a person who's the producer, then there's a channel. But as a writer, I've had a field day because I've been very fortunate. All my publishers have given me a free hand. There's been no interference. Even right now, I'm writing for a newspaper, so they don't alter my copy at all. If they edit it, they play it back to me. So I've been very, very fortunate. My first editor was wonderful. She was at Cineblitz, there was a lady called Rita Mehta. She was Karanjia's daughter, Lucy Karanjia, who used to run the Blitz newspaper. She was so wonderful. So some of the journalists used to joke with me, "You're a blue-eyed boy." I said, "Okay, if that's what you think." But I think it's a myth that writing is genetic. People say, "Oh, God gifted." It may be God gifted 25%. 75% is what you do with yourself, your writing, how much you try to. Yeah, absolutely. It's not God gifted. God gifted, God tells you, "I'm giving you this gift. Now make the most of it." You can't expect God to step at every step and tell you, "Abhi karo, wo karo." That, like, I read new buzzwords every day. I read new kind of writing. What is the latest words being used and what words need to be dropped? What has become cliche? Like, you can't write today a stitch in time saves nine. It's very tough. It's not going to save you when you write that.
True, true,
Yeah.
true. But how did you understand which literary genre you belong to? It could be fiction, non-fiction, documentary, publication, poem, prose. So how did you conclude that this is my genre, or you have no genre?
Very interesting question because there was a reporter of mine. She was trying to be a little smart alecky with me. She told me, she was the reporter, I was the editor, and she told me, "You should stick to humor. Your humor is very good." I said, sorry, I'm not going to constrict myself in any way. I'm here to write. So I moved from, if you've noticed, I moved from writing for film magazines to writing for television serials and then writing haiku. Then I write Hindi, English poetry, and now in regional languages I'm writing poetry. Then I started my workshop. And when I was doing my workshop also, every time I do something, 90% of the people tell me, "Nahi chalega. This will not work."
Oh,
So,
okay.
so except for my wife who believes in me a lot, but for the haiku, even that she was also not confident. She said, "What is haiku? Don't do it." I said, "No, no." So I was planning to self-publish it, and then the publisher saw the copy hanging from my bag when I got to meet him for another book, and he said, "What is that?" And then that's how the haiku happened.
I was going to ask you a few questions about haiku. My question was, how and when did it happen from 0 to 1 and 1 to 101? That is the name of your book, right?
Yes, I wrote some 3 lines of poem. Now I don't remember by memory, but I wrote those 3 lines, and then I shared it with a friend, and he said, "With a little bit of tweaking, this can become a haiku." So I said, "What is a haiku? You want me to explain it for the reader?"
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
It's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables. 3 line. And syllables is like dog is 1 syllable because your lips move only once. Donkey is 2 syllables because it's like donkey. So you have to work, keep that in mind. And it has to, it's non-rhyming poetry, and it's 400 years old Japanese tradition. And it always 90% is about nature, fauna, flora, and uh, it's very difficult to personalize a haiku. You can't write about people, and it's like I said, non-rhyming, and it's very profound. It sends out a profound message.
Okay.
So it's it's where I just enjoyed myself. See, when you passionate and you enjoy something, it translates to other people also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Passion is contagious.
Absolutely, yeah. And passion is what drives you in life. Not money and all. Money and all, of course, it's always a bonus if you get well paid for what you're doing. But passion is what drives me day in and day out. My mom once told me, my elder brother is an exporter, and she said, बड़े बेटे ने ये what? बड़े बेटे ने पैसा बनाया और छोटे बेटे ने नाम कमाया. बड़े बेटे ने पैसा कमाया और छोटे बेटे ने नाम कमाया.
So she's got best of both the worlds.
Yes, yes.
How many sons she has?
Now she's not there. We are 3 brothers. My younger brother died very early in life. He died of asthma attack at 36. He was a wonderful soul. He's the best human being I've ever met in my life.
You mentioned that you moved from writer, TV script writer to editing. Now, editor will check what the reader needs, and a writer will write what he needs. So there is could be a constant tussle, right? On how it should be. Should it be from the perspective of a reader, or should it be, the raw feeling of the writer? So, what do you prefer, editor as an editor or as a writer?
No, I think both don't. There's no clash. I don't think there's a clash. As an editor, also, I want the best from my journalists, and I want what they are trying to communicate. And I never keep the reader in mind while writing.
Oh, okay, that's new. Okay,
I always write what I feel, what I think, and quite a few of my pieces are personalized. I can't write in a dry fashion or where no opinion is being expressed. Of course, by opinion, I don't mean like I can't explain, but sometimes people impose their opinion on people. I say this is what I think, and then I let people interpret. I think when you write what you feel, that's the best way of writing. I may be feeling different at 26. Some of the articles I wrote at 26, I won't write today. But some articles I am able to write today, I would not have been able to write at 26. Because life is the biggest teacher. And as people feel after 60, you are redundant. Today, I don't think any newspaper will give me the job of an editor because I'm past 60. But I tell you, this is the best phase of my life. As a writer, even see, Amitabh Bachchan is so contemporary even today. Only thing is you have to keep reinventing yourself to the current idiom. If you're not in tune with that, then then you can be out of sync.
True. Correct. Out of sync and constantly upgrading and adapting. So, what is your strength? Are you able to do well under stress, or do you buckle up? Do you wait for inspiration, or do you just start writing? And how does it happen with you?
See, for haiku, I'll tell you, it was like a God gifted thing because I wrote one, and then every day in the morning I used to get up. There would be 2-3 haiku jumping in my head.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes, by the time I would come back from the washroom, because it would come in the washroom anywhere on the road, and if I didn't have a pen and pad or a laptop, then I would forget them. So I would lose some haiku that way. But they were just coming naturally. And after 125, 26, they just stopped coming for some time. So I said, okay, 126 days, we say I can reduce it to 101 good ones. And that's what I did. That's how the book happened. But even otherwise, I've never gone through a writer's block, ever. I hear a lot of people saying writer's block. I read some very famous personality said that, they asked him the secret of his success. And he said, I do whatever I do every day. If not for a book or something, I write a diary. So that keeps my machinery well oiled. So I
Correct.
also write. I used to write a diary, but my
Hmm.
diary was so personal and so this. My dad just tore them up once when he got the hands on them. He said, "What is this? Your whole life is spilling in the pages." So yeah, some people feel I expose a lot of myself to my writing, but I think that's wonderful. I don't think that's a disadvantage.
Hmm. So, as your career, would you think that there were many challenges you had to overcome, and did you create any milestones out of these challenges?
I don't know if I created out of these challenges, but I did some things which I'm very, very happy I did them. One was I organized an auction called Forever Yours. Oh, and I got film stars, top costumes, chess sets, lots of other things, and I auctioned them. And
Hmm.
I got called some stars to attend the function also. Like I got Shamit Kapoor's chess set, I got Juhi Chawla's pillow, I got Amitabh Shenshah outfit, I got Madhuri Dixit's Dhak Dhak outfit, which one honeymooning couple bought from me,
Oh my God. Great. Hmm.
and Pooja Bhatt's bikini, Pooja Bedi, sorry, not Bhatt, Pooja Bedi's
Hmm.
bikini.
Hmm.
And we collected that time 90,000 was a big deal in those days.
Absolutely.
And then I gave it to Cheshire a home for the old. So that was one very, very. And then I introduced some new concepts like, people used to put stars who work together. I introduced the concept of getting Amir Khan and Sridevi for a cover when they had nothing to do with each other.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
that set the ball rolling. And I also started interviewing directors and all, editors, directors, cinematographers, which other magazines were not doing. They were
Hmm.
basically writing about stars. Everything was star oriented. And I did one cover that two covers that one got very controversial, which was Pooja but body painted.
Ah, yes.
So that I had to go to the police station also. And there was
Oh, you had to. I was just thinking while you were saying that,
but there was
because.
nothing in it. She was wearing,
Hmm.
a lingerie and she was body painted otherwise. It's not like she was, but my headline gave them a very misleading, because it was a birthday. So I wrote Pooja Bhatt wears the, what? What is that
Birthday
called?
suit?
Yes.
Hmm.
And another cover that got me a lot of what to say recognition, praise was when I got Amitabh Bachchan and Rajesh Khanna together for a
Oh.
same cover. And so
Hmm.
when the magazine was released, I was at Centaur Hotel and I saw Mahesh Bhatt coming from a distance.
Hmm.
And he kept his hands like that, said, "You have created history." I said,
Ah,
"Oh." So when you get, I feel those who say we are appreciation junkies is not right. Appreciation is not, you're not craving for it, but when it comes, why don't you accept it as an embrace? I think accepting is as good as giving. You should learn to, some people don't know how to accept even a compliment. They'll change the topic or they'll say, you should be able to accept a compliment. It's a wonderful thing. Why not?
so there is one compliment coming up.
For you.
There
You
are
are
some
going you
compliments.
are going to threaten me in my own profession. You're going to outdo me in journalism.
There are some compliments from our viewers here.
Uh,
Prakash Ji Rane, I hope you are able to hear us loud and clear now. We will just increase our volume. And Rohini Chitle, thank you for joining. She says, wonderful perception, sir. Amazing ideas and belief. Then we have a viewer, Nilanjana Sengupta. She says, Dinesh, sir, I have a question for you. Have you ever thought of facing the camera and perform as an actor in a movie? Yes, have you?
I have done a movie.
Really?
Yeah, I went to it was not done a movie in the sense like I went to the shooting of Ajka MLA in which Rajesh Khanna plays a ignorant man who becomes a politician. So
Okay.
I had gone to interview Rajesh Khanna actually. So while they were
Okay.
shooting, they needed journalists. So they said instead of taking artists like who are, do cameo roles, let's take real life journalists. So they dragged me in there and they made me sit there and I had to say one line, which was, आपको लिखना आता है. Because I'm asking the man who's an ignorant guy and he's becoming a politician. So for that line, I took 5 retakes. So I said, after this, but I faced the camera. I've done some television shows as a host and all.
Okay.
But not acting. Acting is a different term. And I don't believe that when they say that every human being wants to be an actor and, everybody is a closet actor, I don't think so. I never wanted to be.
Hmm. Oh, it's important that you understand your calling really early in life.
Yeah, it's very
The
important.
later you
And
understand, the shorter span you get.
I'll say 2 lines I've written. I can't read the whole poem.
Yes, please.
Two diametrically opposite views. Two diametrically opposite views, society and me. Because society says conform, whereas me, I say do as you want to, be as you want to. So even if you have to rebel against the system, your parents, or whatever, do it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be yourself, to realize your potential. What is the point if I was doing a chartered accountancy and even if I was making 10 times the money I'm making now, I would have never been a happy person. It's so important to be happy. When my daughter asked me for any advice, she says, should I do this? I said, bottom line is, Nikita, whatever makes you happy. So if you don't want to go for an outdoor shoot because you feel you're not prepared for it, because she's a costume stylist, I said, then don't go. But she then realizes that she does want to go. Sometimes we need reaffirmation from somewhere else. But fortunately for me, see, in my professional life, even when I lose a job, no, I don't, like you said, God is kind. So personally, I may have a lot of upheavals, health, etc., etc. There have been lots. But professionally, God has been so kind to me. I lost a job with India Today, and they gave me just 24 hours notice. So because I was not an employee, I was a consultant with them. So then they asked me to leave. That very evening, I got a call from Balaji saying, "Do you want to write for us as a TV script writer?" So God has been very kind. I think God also knows that you're true to your profession, you're true to your passion. Then He steps in at that time. If you are fooling somebody, or if you are hoodwinking yourself, that I am a good writer, and if you're not, God will say, "Ille, ille."
Yes, 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 absolutely true. In fact, you mentioned that, a point about freelancing. My question to you would be, what would you advise? In the beginning, should we work as a writer on roles and then do freelancing? Or how does it happen? What
Right.
is your perspective?
Writer on roles means I didn't understand the question.
Means you are employed by somebody to write.
See, finally, the biggest thrill is which I realized little late in life, is to be your own boss. That's the best thing. But to reach that position, you have to go through all this.
Correct.
So you need a little courage. Each time I step into a new thing, it's like I don't put my toe first and then I just plunge in. Swimming सीख जाऊंगा, jump मारूंगा तो swim. Even now YouTube, so many things which I did in the beginning, I feel, oh God, this was not the way to go about it. But I realized that only when I did them. If I'd waited to perfect myself as a YouTuber, I would still be planning only. I think you need to execute what you believe in. That's so important. And then you'll learn, get a few dhakka mari slap laps you'll get, but that's okay.
Yes, yes, true.
Yeah.
True. So when you mention you just take a plunge. So generally it is said that, the first draft could be art and the revision could be the artist. So which is your best version? The first one or the edited one?
Mine is the best, first one. I call my friend tells me he writes points 1, 2, 3, and this will link to this. He says your writing is stream of consciousness. It's like a river. You just flow with it. And then when you look at it again, you feel this portion could go that. But when you're writing, and that's true, I put pen to paper or fingers on my laptop. Sometimes my thoughts are coming faster than I can type. So then I have a problem with that. But I write in a one flat sitting. I don't break up and write. Some people break up, have a coffee break. Then they say tomorrow we'll continue. I can't write like that. So that's why I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and that's the time I write because there's nobody to disturb you, and you're clear, you're fresh, and you just have a hot cup of tea and you're set to go. By 8 o'clock, my article is ready. Then I go through the daily motions of life.
Oh,
And
super.
night is my magic hours. From 10 to 1, I just unwind. I think we should do that. If you don't unwind, no, you'll not even be good at the profession you are in. If you spend 24 hours at it, you'll dry up. It's like, either too much rain or too much or no rain. It's that kind of situation. Moderation, like Buddha said, is the way to life.
Ah,
The middle path.
correct, correct. You mentioned earlier about the auction of Star Paraphernalia.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you also introduced this Dial a Movie Star.
Yes.
So could you share some interesting incidents?
You know, sometimes there was a feature I got a dream of. I was dreaming and I saw that Govinda and Sarabhanu were talking to each other. So
Okay.
when I got up in the morning, I was dying to get to the office. I got to the office and I said, we want to Govinda and Sarabhanu will do Govinda and Puja. And my dream was they're looking at photographs and commenting. So I said,
Hmm.
we'll take a bunch of photographs to them and then I'll ask them to comment. I tell you, the
Hmm.
article shaped up so beautifully because I had not showed them the photographs and shown them the photographs. So when they turned up, I was opening one photograph and see, Govinda is very dehati, very down to earth. Not dehati is a wrong word. It'll send out the wrong impression. Very down to earth person.
Right.
And Pooja Bhatt is she's been exposed to society and everything.
Right.
So their point of views was so different. It was so much fun. Even this Dial Star scheme, I don't know how it occurred to me. I just came one day to office and said, "What about this idea?" And
Hmm.
again, the whole reaction was, "It will not work." I said. So I met a lot of people who have told me this will not work, and that makes me go even more strongly for it. So I said, "No, it will work." So what we did is we then decided we'll republicize it. In this issue, we'll talk about the next issue that this star is coming. So people have
Ah.
25 days to assimilate the idea. But it was a rocking idea in the sense like I'm not praising myself because of the response. It was supposed to be from 10 to 12. I'm telling you from 10 to 6 for the next 7 days the phone used to ring. I said, but the star was supposed to come on 24th April. Why are you calling on May 1st to find out if you think the star stays here with me for 7 days?
Maybe they thought, the number belongs to his residence. Who knows?
Yeah, possibly. Then
Right.
I also introduced something called classic postcards,
Okay. Okay.
where there was a postcard of lovely pictures of the stars, the best picture, and behind that there was a little trivia about them. So that was a big hit with teenagers. Then I did poster mag where it was folded, open it, open it, open it, and it becomes a big 6-sheeter kind of thing. And the
Like a
poster,
pop-up.
like not a pop-up. I did a pop-up also, by the way, of Dharmendra. You open the magazine and Dharmendra would pop up.
Wow. I definitely missed that.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was
Great.
not for movie. That was for the magazine I worked earlier. So it proved to be very costly. So the accounts department called me and said, "No more such costly ideas." I said, "Okay."
I think the real Dharmendra coming in would be cheaper. No
By the way,
wonder you flunked in CA.
I want to talk about Dharmendra. What a fabulous human being. It's Dharmendra. I've enjoyed interviewing Dharmendra, Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh Bachchan. Rajesh Khanna was a fabulous interview. And he had a voice that could just make you forget what you're listening to and just hear the voice. So he had a wonderful. I've had some great times in the film industry. I don't know why people give the industry a bad name. It's a beautiful place to be. I love the industry.
You just mentioned you have conducted multiple interviews with Dilip Kumar, Devanand, Big
Yeah.
B, Rajesh Khanna, Dimple Kapadia, Mithun. So any incident which actually you were taken aback with their behavior, maybe in a good way. Why not? Maybe in a good way. Yes.
Yeah. There are many. There are so many. Like when I was interviewing Dimple for the first time, there was a film called Zarfin Sher in
Hmm.
Chennai. She was making a comeback. So I'll tell you two incidents about her. One, while I was interviewing her, it became lunchtime. So they got Chinese food for her and they got me Chennai, I don't know if you know, there's a thing called tiffin.
Yes, yes.
So from the tiffin, 8 people can eat, but they give it to one person. So they got me a tiffin, and Dimple said, told the unit hand, get me a tiffin also. So they said, why? Either get me a tiffin also or get him Chinese also. So that is a, and then when I became an editor and I sent my team to meet her, so when they went there, she ordered ice cream for everybody.
Ah.
And I had written that she was so nervous in a comeback that she was chewing gum like a cow chews cud. So I thought after that I met her in Filmistan studio. I thought she's going to fire me, and she told me, come here. So I thought, and when then she said, you were the only one who wrote the truth. The others wrote I was confident and all rubbish. And Devanand, my God, what a wonderful human being, used to tell me, don't call me Dev Saab, call me Dev. So I used to call him Dev. And he said, मैं दिलीप कुमार को फोन करता हूँ तो पहले जॉन आता है फोन पे, फिर सायरा जी, फिर दिलीप साहब, मैं तो अपना फोन खुद उठाता हूँ. I said, that's great, Dev Saab. Dev, I mean, I should not call him. Yeah. I don't call anybody G in the industry, and that bugs some people. I don't like being called G. I think it's, I don't know why G. In writing also, I've never written Amitabh Ji. I write Amitabh. I call Amitabh also Amitabh. But Jaya Ji, Shavana Ji, these people are particular. So then I call them Ji. Amitabh is very cool when I call him Amitabh.
Cool. So yes, DR, we have got some questions and compliments for you. So I'll read them out. A question from Dr. Kiran G. Sophia. How about holding an auction now of celebrities paraphernalia? I would love to buy something from Ajay Devgan for my son.
Why not? It's a wonderful idea. But that time I had a whole team working with me, So I had 5 reporters, one chief reporter. I would send them out to collect the paraphernalia. It's not a one-man job. I can't do it now. And now in COVID times, so it's out of question, There's no question. And it's
yes,
a very...
So maybe we can have some digital interviews happening. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Of course, that I do anyway. I do Zoom interviews with film stars right now.
And invite a few special people.
Like you.
Yeah.
Why not? I do that all the time. Now some of my participants say it's COVID times, we can't pay the fees. I said, yeah, fees aa jao tum. And I send them all Zoom links. Last 2 workshops, I've not charged anybody anything. What I used to charge was nominal. It used to just cover the place I was renting out. Because first we used to do it live. We used to go to a studio, or a club, some hall in a club or a hotel. So that costs money. So
expensive, right?
Not to make profit. You can't make profit from workshops. At least I can't. And though I'm a Sindhi, I'm a bad businessman. I can't negotiate money.
That's rare. That's rare.
That's rare.
Absolutely rare.
But anyway, I don't believe in bracketing people. Ke Sindhi jaise hote hai, Gujarati. You feel nice people in any community you'll meet, and you'll meet bad people in any community. I mean, nice and bad, I've gone beyond that also. What is nice and what is bad?
Oh, if you could bracket people well, then you could have been a best chartered accountant and passed with flying colors. Because you're creative, you want to think out of the box, you don't want to follow rules, you want to be your own boss. So we have a fantastic writer with us here. So we will take a few questions and compliments. Prakash ji says, nice questions, great going, fabulous answers. And Rohini Chitle, a wonderful perception, sir, amazing ideas and belief. And yes, Purnima Paul, thank you for joining us. She says, yes, sir, it's absolutely essential to be yourself. Lakshmi L, sir, please share your experience in front of camera and please share some COVID guidelines. I think COVID guidelines we will give that a miss because we already have the WhatsApp University giving us too much. But definitely we will ask something about front of the camera. DR, you have founded the Dinesh Raheja workshop. Yeah. And this is mainly for the actors, right? To connect with the media.
Right.
Right. and maybe also to face the camera. So some insights about it.
You know, I think what actors need to do is, and what we also, all of us need to do is overcome our inhibitions. Lack of inhibitions is the best thing you can do. So how do you do that? Each time you challenge yourself, like when I was in school, there used to be debates and elocutions and all. So my Hindi teacher told me, "तुम क्यों part नहीं लेते इतनी अच्छी हिंदी बोलते हो?" I said, "नहीं सर, मेरे को stage fright है." He said, "तुम आ जाओ stage के सामने, मैं देखता हूँ क्या fright होता है." And I went there and I did the elocution and I won the first prize in the elocution. So it was like one stumbling block. Then I had a thing about not coming in front of the camera. Then when I went for my first workshop, I took a 8-page, 10-page script, what I'm going to read. But after 15 minutes, I just kept the script aside and it was free flowing. Like I said, stream of consciousness. Even my workshop is like that, stream of consciousness. And then I said, now we can't do it on any place, so we need to do it on camera. So then I came on camera. And then I got over that also in the first 5 minutes. Then I was like, Zoom में तो और भी मजा है. No need to go anywhere. We are all coming to one place online. So every time I think we need to challenge ourselves. And of course, if it's something makes you very uncomfortable, try it for a few times and then don't push yourself. Something you owe to yourself also. Sometimes you can't do some things. It's okay to accept it. I don't believe in the notion that keep doing till you work. You might, in fact, my sir once told me a beautiful thing, a music teacher. He was teaching me some song and I was getting stuck on one note. So after 5-6 times, he said, "तुम कोई दूसरा गाना उठा लो." They say उठा लो in music lingo, especially teachers and all. "तुम कोई दूसरा गाना उठा लो." I said, "क्यों sir?" He said, "नहीं, अभी तुम्हारे दिमाग में ना जो wrong है वो छप गया है. अब तुम कितनी भी बात करोगे तो वो wrong वाला ही note निकलेगा. इसको तुम छोड़ दो." Which is true. Sometimes you're not capable of doing something. How much will you challenge yourself? Beyond the point, you should not challenge. Even you have. I think you owe it to yourself.
Right.
We have no points to prove to anybody. The only points you have to prove is to yourself, if at all.
Correct. A question from Dr. Kiran. D, if you had to bring two stars together today, whom would you feature?
I would not bring two, I would bring three.
Okay, who are they?
Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan and Amir Khan.
Wow, that would be a blast.
Yeah. And in heroines, I would bring Priyanka Chopra, Deepika Padukone and Alia Bhatt together.
So I think Dr. Kiran, there you go. Be prepared. He could do that anytime, maybe digitally. Why not in his workshop? Yeah. Yes. Great. So we have got a lot of compliments from Nilanjana Sengupta, Mr. Pai, Mr. Santosh Kamerkar, and Nilanjana and Suresh Malya. Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Keep your questions coming because, DR is not answering them in brief. He's just answering them, answer in one sentence. So I need a cannonball of questions. Yeah. Lots of questions required.
Tell them. Sangeeta, bring on the compliments, bring them on.
Yeah, compliments and questions both, right? So we have a lot of compliments. Good evening, thank you, we agree with you. So anything you say is, just lapped up. So DR, you definitely know the pulse of the audience. So my question would be, when you mentioned earlier about publishing, right?
Yeah.
So when you publish a lot of your articles, does it so happen that your raw writer, somewhere his thoughts diminish or depreciate? No. Does that happen?
I don't feel. It's not like a well. If you go on pulling buckets of water, it will dry up. There's so much.
What are your thoughts?
I think now I've reached a stage where what Rishikesh Mukherjee once said was brilliant. He said, as you grow in your autumn years of your life, or as you grow older, just give whatever you have learned in life. Don't think I'll keep something for myself and why should. It's like some people say in a recipe, they leave one ingredient out. I've never left an ingredient out in my life ever. Whatever I know, I just pass on to the next generation or to my generation also. I think that is like I learned a lot from my grandson also. He says, Nanu, sharing is caring. I said, that's the best thing I've heard. Sharing is caring. You should
Correct.
share. What will we do with our information? It will go with us to our grave. It's better to pass it on and let people make as much benefit as they can. I also learned from the masters. So we all learn and then we owe it. The whole thing is, I have a haiku which I can't remember in which he says he makes other people drink water because it's something to do with how the potter made the pot and the pot now gives water to others. It's like Buddha says we are all linked, you know. We are all codependent. So if you think you're going to do it all alone, you're not going to go far. Codependency is important.
Yes.
So now, if you notice, I get a lot of this TV celebrities, film celebrities to read my poems. It's not that I can't read them myself, but collaboration is so enjoyable. It gives the other person joy. It gives you joy. Like now we are collaborating on this interview. You know, if you just spoken about me and written a monologue, I don't think you would have had that much fun as we are having right now.
Yes. Yes. And fun is because I invite the best of people, and the subject is getting candid. So, when you are candid, I think it's fun.
I'm an Aries. Aries are very candid, sometimes dangerously so. Because some people ask me for opinions, they say, don't ask me. Because I can't, क्या बोलते हैं, I can put a glove before
Call
giving
spade
you a
a
box.
spade.
Yeah, and they say, I don't pack an iron fist in a glove. I just remove the glove and I just punch.
Give it the way it is.
Not because I'm mean. I just feel if you're asking me for an opinion, I should be honest.
So, in your 30s, if I ask you to use 3 adjectives to define yourself, what you were in your 30s. Yeah. So, what would be those 3 adjectives?
Adventurous.
Okay.
Very adventurous.
Okay.
I don't like to praise myself. It will be
3 adjectives only.
Yeah, the adjective is also praising me only. Adventurous, innovative, and actually they all belong to the same feeling. And I had this what to say. I would say compassionate because I would like my reporters to get their bylines also. I used to get great thrill in seeing my reporters getting bylines. One of my associate editors once told me, "You gave me 3 cover stories in a row. Why did you do that?" I said, yeah, I was not thinking whether I'm giving you a cover story. I was thinking whether the story is good to deserve a cover. So, why should I stop you if you're brilliant? Why should I hold? I'm not that insecure that I think somebody will outdo me. Even if they outdo me, it's there. Do it. And if I'm the medium, why not?
Wow.
Yeah. See, like I read a beautiful line in a TV serial. I heard, not that. It says, once in a while, you should let others get the spotlight. Why think only about me? Think about me also. But even in yoga, there's a mudra like this. I don't know if you can see. You take with
Yes.
you take with 2. No, take with 3 and give away 2. 3 fingers are receiving, 2 are giving. So that maintains the yin and yang in you. The good and the receiving, like I told you, and giving, both are good qualities, good traits to have. Some people say मेरे हाथ हमेशा ऐसे रहते हैं, मैं कभी ऐसे नहीं लेता हूँ. But when you're not taking, you're hurting the person who's wanting to give. So it's a lot of it has got nothing to do with journalism. It's my experiences of life. So why not share that also?
Yes. So you mentioned that you are compassionate, adventurous, and innovative, and these 3 adjectives you will use for your 30s. And which adjectives will you use for now?
No, I've not changed much in this area. It's the same.
It's the same?
Now you can add, I was very reserved, believe it or not. I was a very reserved person. I used to.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Now I become very, my wife calls me Sarvajanik. She says,
Oh,
you belong to everybody. So and she said you'll spread yourself thin with your affection. I said no, the more people I spread affection to, the more it grows.
right, right. You mentioned that you must not have any inhibitions. So, as a writer, also, you should not have any inhibitions. Can you share something about that?
What inhibitions can you have as a writer? Writing is a medium of expression. Why would you hold yourself back? As a writer, I've never had inhibition. Of course, I wouldn't write for a, I don't want to name the magazine, but a magazine that is, I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong. I can't write about any explicit intimacy or things like that. And I can't write about scandals. They don't interest me. So that's not my inhibition. That's my self-made whatever. That's my choice not to write about that. So some people challenge me sometimes, but you've never broken any stories, or you've never done Aaj ki taza khabar. You know how they come on TV.
Yeah, breaking news. Yeah,
Breaking. क्या
correct.
आप जानते हैं? No, and I don't want to know क्या आप जानते हैं कि नहीं जानते. So some people ask me, is it true so and so are having an affair? I said you better go and ask them because I'm not got into the bedroom. So we can only speculate and just conjecture, which I don't enjoy doing. I've never written a bird said or a close contact informed me, or those are all what are they? They're gimmicks. When you don't have your facts, you resort to these. Which bird is coming and telling you what? Which bird is filling your ears? No, if you have the fact or corroborate it with, call the person up about whom you're writing a scandal. Is it true? Let him also have a say. You can't carry a
Right.
one-sided story.
True, true. We have a question from Anilji Garg. Anilji Garg is also one of our special mentors with Swayambhu. Thank you,
Wonderful.
Anilji. A question. We know about being typecast, typecast stars, directors, etc. Are the writers also typecast mostly? Exceptions will always be there though. If typecast writer is a reality in general, then what will be your advice for young writers to avoid being typecast?
Oh, you have to work on yourself if you feel, like this reporter told me you should write only humor pieces. No, don't restrict yourself. Try and grow in all areas. Unless you're happy being in your space. Some actors thrive on the image they have. But today's actors, you notice, see how they're doing. There's no hero roles as such, nothing like a hero. They're all playing characters. One thing I liked about Amitabh Bachchan was when he used to say, you are a hero of so and so film. He used to say, no, I'm one more character in the film. So as a journalist also, or as a writer, if you're writing fiction, try writing non-fiction. I also tried my hand at, what is it called? I'm forgetting the term right now. Where you, for a documentary, I spoke I did the commentary for the documentary. So for that,
Okay.
I had to go to a dubbing theater and put earphones and speak. It was so wonderful. I think you just need to evolve. How do you know you're going to come back to this world? Make the most of it in this life.
Yes.
Don't believe in reincarnation and keep some things for, even if there is reincarnation,
Later.
don't postpone it. This is the
Yes.
time. And I tried retiring also in the sense like I took a break sabbatical. But and I tried going into religious chanting and all. Then I said, "Nee, I'm a karma yogi. I'm not a dharam yogi. So I need to do my karma. I'm happiest when I'm working, writing, doing workshops. That's me. So I think it's a little late to change me now. Though I
Right.
believe it's never too late to change anything about yourself. I was just joking about this. But you can change yourself at any time in your life. Even if you work in something you've not enjoyed, break it off right now. Get out of that job. And like this actor, I don't know if you've seen this film called Disciple. So there's
Yes.
a
I haven't seen that yet.
Aditya Modak. So he was working with some concern. And then he said, my passion is music. Why am I doing this? So he gave up a secure job and got into music. And the moment he started that, within 15 days he got offered a film called The Disciple. You need to take, like I said, go straight into the pool. You know, in there's a country, I think it's China or Japan. They don't hire an instructor to teach you swimming. They throw the child in the water and people form a circle around him. So the child, it tries to reach whoever and they
Oh,
learn swimming. I taught my daughter swimming in the same way. I made my friends form a circle and I threw in the middle. And she was like, when she came out, she was very angry with me, but she didn't realize she had learned swimming in the process.
mm.
So you have to just get into the pool. Don't first test it with your toe.
So you
But
just need to take the leap of faith.
absolutely, there's nothing like faith.
Correct. So take your leap of faith, no matter what age you are in.
Yeah.
Continue to evolve, and the best time is now. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So a question
I
from
want to I want
Neelanjana.
to thank I want to thank this gentleman who asked the question.
Anilji, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
So a question from Neelanjana Sengupta. Sir, in your opinion, is it very important to have a formal training in acting before facing the camera, especially for a long inning in acting?
It's very helpful. It is very helpful. You know, but in journalism, I always tell the person who wants to join me, if you have the confidence to walk in through the door of my cabin and reach me, I'll make you a journalist for 100% for sure. I'll
Wow.
make sure. And also, some people who come with a very fixed notion of what it is about, I tell them they come from journalism schools. So I tell them, first I'll have to make you unlearn and then I'll teach you. Because you should not come with, actually, even in acting, however much you train, your final test is when you're in front of the camera.
Mm.
If you can't deliver at that time, then all your training, you know, because
Yes.
when you're not in front of the camera, you're less nervous, less tense. Because even if you goof up, what will happen? You'll do a. But if there's been time invested on you, there's people involved, there's a cameraman, there's a light man, there's a director, and you're goofing up time and again. Not only will you lose confidence in yourself, they will also lose confidence in you.
Mm.
So I think that way formal training will help you to a degree. But finally, it's what you can do in front of the camera. There are actors who have had no formal training and they're brilliant actors.
True, 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 absolutely true. So I think we had a lot of support from our viewers, a lot of compliments and questions. My last two questions for you would be, what message would you like to share with those who didn't get it right the first time and have decided to quit? Okay, what would be your message to them?
No, they have to figure out, are they quitting because they know they are good at their job and they're not tasted success, or are they quitting because they found out I'm not good at this? So
Sometimes it's very difficult. It's a dilemma. We don't know whether we need to cross the bridge or we need to burn the bridge. So in that instance, how would you go about?
that it's your bridge. I can't cross it for you. I can't burn it for you. So that you have to figure out. I can give you very broad guidelines, but at the end of the day, you have to decide that is this. I also have to decide whether this bridge is worth crossing, or am I going to be standing at this end of the bridge, and when life is over, I feel, oh, I'm still at this end of the bridge only. So
Right.
you have to decide. That's totally your calling. I can't decide for you. You know.
So to all the aspiring writers, would you coax them to undergo some professional training, or if they are self-starters and self-learners, how should they proceed if they want to get into writing professionally?
Whatever again suits your temperament. I didn't want to go to any journalism school.
Okay.
I just felt I can write, I can express, I can feel. So I think if you can feel, you can eventually write. And I've been very fortunate from one thing I learned in the course, which I could have learned in a school when I was working with the daily newspaper. So I was taking very long to write about a fire report. A fire had broken out at Breach Candy. And I was taking
Okay.
very long to write it. So my sub-editor came to me, he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, journalism is literature in a hurry.
Mm.
You have to write very well, but you have to write with, especially if you're working for a daily newspaper. Then you can't say, I'll take 8 hours to write this article. By the time the news will become like yesterday's newspaper.
Correct.
So you have to be on the ball, like they say. You have to be there. And So yeah, it's good to, even now also I feel you should be able to meet deadlines. I think people who don't meet deadlines are not committed.
But how easy or difficult it is to write under pressure?
Well, when somebody dies, some actor dies, and you have to submit the, piece dedicated to them, or appreciating what they've done. So where's the time? He's died, and you have to write. So they're always writing under pressure in such instances. Or if somebody's, done some offense and is going to jail or something. So you
But
have
there
to.
you're mentioning the facts. But supposing you need to write, say, like you mentioned earlier, the TV script writer. So he doesn't have facts and he has to just bring it from, thin air, build it up. So how are
I,
you
th-
good at that during
I, would,
pressure?
I would like to end on a lighter note. When you're writing for a TV script, they said, सीन नंबर 4 हम लोग शोले से उठाते हैं सीन नंबर 6 हम लोग महाभारत में से उठाते
Oh,
हैं. So they reduce. I'm not saying this is true of all. There's been some brilliant writing on TV also, like Bunyad, Hamlo. I'm talking about older programs. There are recent programs also. Though of late, I've not been watching TV. But on Netflix, you see such fantastic writing of late.
sure,
So
sure.
it's not that they don't write well, but there are instances where this also happens. So then where's the pressure? If you're going to pick up from pressures when you're trying to write something original, something out of the box, like you said, that's when there's pressure. And that also, I don't feel the pressure because, like I said, my friend Munmun Ghosh, who's also a author of books, she says, you're not a journalist, you're not a this, whatever, you're an ideas man. She says, always thinking of new ideas, what to do, how to innovate, what can we do, like the phone call scheme, the auction, all these things, Puja but body painting. So that was also
So
all.
actually, you are a businessman. You
How?
actually lied. You are not able to do business. You are able to do fantastic business.
But I don't start off with the idea कि इसका मैं business करूँगा. Then it may become business later on. That's like I said, a bonus. Of course, everybody likes to make money. Money is
Yes.
what keeps you finally in this society. I can't live on only I don't want to die. Like Ghalib was supposed to have been a great poet and he didn't make money in his lifetime. He died in death. Picasso also had a difficult life. He was recognized much after his death. So you need
Sure.
to be recognized while you're living. And like Mahesh Bhatt said one very good thing. He's saying, some legends outlive their life in the sense like they're forgotten while they're still living. If they had died a little earlier, maybe they would have gone as legends. Uh, so,
True.
but who wants that? I would rather live long. Give me a
Right.
long life any day to a famous life. I think life is so precious. You can do so many other things. It's not just
Okay.
only about your creativity. Life is beautiful.
True.
That's
True.
my final assessment of life. Life is
Ah,
beautiful.
not final yet. My
Acha.
last question. My last question is, DR Swayambhu is a social movement where we transform the backbenchers to front runners. So you may have, quite a big share of people who are not very academically, there, distinction, first class. And what has been your experience? Have these backbenchers been, front runners in their own way? What has been your experience?
There are two people I know who had quit. They didn't even go to college. And they're such good writers. They're amazing writers. So, like I said, finally, I know a lot of people who have not even, they've been homeschooled by their parents because of financial dire financial circumstances. And they've done so brilliantly in their life. So, finally, it's you. Everything else is external. Your whole world is inside you. So, if you can, you know, express yourself or find your own way of, reaching. These two girls, I know both are girls incidentally. So, they are such brilliant writers. Nobody know unless they say okay, they have not gone to college. But I tell them, why do you need to tell people that?
Correct.
You're so good at your job. That's more than enough. So many of the actors are school dropouts. And all, I think about, I don't know about today's generation, previous generation, I don't think 60% even went to college. So I remember Sadhna, the actress of the 60s, she was very well read because the teacher was her mother was a Montessori teacher. But she, in first year of college in Jai Hind, she was discovered by a director producer. And she never looked back and she didn't complete the course. But when I met her, she spoke immaculate English. I don't think Dharmendra also has gone to college, no?
I have no idea.
No, he's not gone to college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know that for a fact. So yeah, so how does it really matter finally? It's what you do with your life. Now, of course, actors go to foreign countries and they learn in academies, and some people have studied at RADA, Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. So there are people who have gone through that also.
Sure.
Like Nasir and Om and all have gone to the Pune Film Institute, or either there or they've gone to that Al-Qazi's drama. Yeah, so it's like I said, you can't slot anybody. I can't even, if I give advice also, it may backfire on me because something else may work for somebody else. I can't speak for everybody. I can only actually, at the end of the day, everybody can speak only for themselves.
True.
Yeah.
So we conclude the session today with a positive note that your mark sheet will not decide your present and future. You have to do that yourself.
Yeah.
And I thank DR for being here with us. And we look forward to comments from you. And if there is any specific industry or profile you would like to listen to, understand further, please mention it in the comment section, and we will ensure that we catch up with you with the right guest addressing you. So thank you, viewers, for joining us.
One minute, Sangeeta. Yeah. Thank them, then I'll talk.
Yes,
yeah.
please.
So I also want to give my Oscar award-winning speech.
Please.
I want to thank you, Sangeeta, for always being supportive, always encouraging me. I want to thank the technician. This is the second time he's doing this. What's his name, please?
Rohit.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank all the viewers, including, I can remember two names, Dr. Kiran, Nilanjana. They have been wonderful. And thank you, viewers. Thank you so much for supporting me and coming to here.
Yes, so last compliment from Bhavna Deo. Please accept this compliment, sir. Enjoyed every line. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bhavna. Thank you so much. We'll do
Thank
this
you
again.
And God bless.
Sangeeta, we'll do this again.
Absolutely. You said it. You read my mind again.
Okay. Bye.
So thank you and have a good evening ahead.
Yes.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.